Back with more Heartstopper. This is episode 4 of season 2. Very excited to carry on. So what's going to happen next because everything was kicking off in the last episode. Angst galore, and I'm sure that will probably bleed into this episode and beyond. So let's get excited for that, shall we? But yeah, love this season so far. Very excited to see where it's going to go next. This is actually going to be the last episode I record today, which is the day the season dropped. Didn't get as much time as I would have liked to record stuff today, just because, for behind the scenes reasons, episode 2 was a little shit to get published on YouTube. Copyright was awful. Had no problem with episode 1. Episode 3 is uploading right now. We'll see how that goes. But episode 2 took like an hour and a half to re-edit, so YouTube liked it. So that took a lot out of the day, unfortunately. And I'm losing the light now. I've actually got a big kind of lamp in front of me to make it a bit better. So I don't have time, and I don't have the light anymore because my old like setup in my other filming room no longer exists. So I don't have a particularly good setup where I can film any time of day anymore. But you know, we'll get to the halfway point of the season, which isn't terrible from the first day, and I'll try and get the rest of the season watched and uploaded whenever I can. But I probably won't be able to watch any more until Sunday. So we're looking at Sunday at the earliest, potentially, for more reactions as I'm posting this. So apologies for that, but you know, it is what it is, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what's next for Nick and Charlie after their kind of decision to slow down on the Nick coming out thing. Very intrigued in particular about, what's next for Tao and Elle after their kind of disaster of a date and their fallout after that, what that all means. And yeah, just beyond that really, what on earth is going to be happening next, what they're going to throw at us, we'll see. And there's obviously some Tara and Darcy tension going on as well. So, some strainage is occurring and I'm not happy about it. I want some wholesomeness back. Hopefully episode 4 will deliver on that. We'll see. I doubt it, but we're going to watch it anyway. So let's get into it. It's Paris time.
It can be fun being a secret again. Yeah.
Or
But
it could be depressing.
last 2 days without kissing.
Elle, did you want to sit next to Tom?
No. I'm going to sit with the girls.
Oh. Harry sat at the back in the middle like, I'm cool. You're not cool, Harry. I'm excited for Paris though. I know he's going through it and stuff, but my god does his hair look so much better.
How did you know that you liked him in that way?
I just always wanted to be around him, and I literally could not stop thinking about kissing him.
Besides going to this book.
It's house face.
Okay. Bye. My dad.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Your dad's French? Yeah.
Oh.
Are we under the water?
Yeah.
Then why can't we see any fish?
He was that close to quitting his job right there.
We get to hang out in Paris. Sleeping in the same bed.
They'll always have Paris.
I guess I've just been worried about when I said, you mean about our prom outfits? Because, I still think we should be Princess Peach and Mario.
Deflecting.
My reasoning for this is-
Oh.
Well, I'm having a window, but I want the other bed.
Uh,
Woken up by the sun.
Well.
Thought you'd find it awkward sharing with Nick. Just standing next to her makes me feel like I'm being electrocuted.
God. I see where that's going. If they go to sleep holding hands, I am going to just jump out a window and cry.
Je suis chocolat. Chocolat.
Actually me. Apple juice. This is your way in. Make amends. Oh, see, that's sweet. He looks so scared. Will is such a good actor.
I wanted to share a bed with you. I'm sure we'll get to do it one day.
Oh.
I didn't mean.
Charlie! You two coming up? Oh, you're being gay. Good job. Carry on. You should get one of those padlocks and write your initials on it.
You're joking. It's so lame.
My God, you're such a dickhead. At least humour her. God.
I need a drink.
It'd be nice to just explore. Benoit painted that.
Yeah, it's a really important place in art history.
Why don't you two go together then?
We can meet you in a couple of hours.
Yes.
Just us?
Sure.
This can be that proper first date. So they can be themselves there.
Since when could you speak French? Like an actual French person?
Oh, my dad's French.
Since when?
Since when?
His birth?
He looks like Nick is so in love with you. It's a bit unbearable to watch them.
I like these two as a pairing. Don't think we've gotten much of that.
You're out and you can hold hands and kiss and... I really want that.
And I'll clap really loud even if you fall over and mess up the entire thing. Me and her were all that mannered.
Aww. Oh, I want to see more flashbacks if they do them like that. That's cool.
You both talk about your feelings. Darcy just makes everything into a joke. It's hard to
Yeah.
get to open up.
Oh. I'm still full for breakfast. Sorry, you didn't eat that much breakfast. Yeah, I did. No bubble gum. Oh, you're a good influence on me.
Yeah. I understood that reference. I love museums, so I'd be all for this.
We don't have to talk about it. I'm happy you're making new friends, but I just get in my head about being left behind and alone.
Yeah. He had that with Charlie last season, didn't he?
Friendship's really important to me.
Shall we
Make out?
look at some art now?
Oh, okay.
We're in a public space. Your house.
See, they can be themselves here. Is Tao discovering a passion for photography?
Get off!
Yes.
Do you guys mind if I hang with you for a bit? Ben's being so boring.
He is being boring. Boring Ben.
Do you even like him? He sounds horrible.
He is horrible, Elle.
Maybe I haven't had the best track record of relationships, but I think being honest is best when living with regret.
Wise words. He's so crazy. I love him. Oh my god. I went on a school trip to Holland and this is like the exact vibe. It's so weird. If I had it there, I'd have to try it, but I'd just never order it.
Can you breathe?
Oh, he's died.
I haven't spoken to you properly in ages.
Yeah, good reason.
Why are you in the mood today?
Because you're supposed to be my boyfriend. I'm breaking up with you.
Good.
Your energy's off. You're not mature, and clearly you have some issues that you need to resolve before you're ready to be in a relationship.
You don't have to be such a bitch about it.
Benjamin,
Fucking hell.
Back down.
Yeah, mind your fucking language, Ben. Well, go Imogen is all I'll say.
I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have done that in front of everyone.
I think it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So. Agreed.
Everything would be so much easier if I was into girls.
I don't know.
I'm not sure about that.
Could I maybe have a hug?
Aww. See, she's so kind and sweet, and like, I don't understand the people who like hate her.
Why would she ever She's so
Aw.
cool and interesting and beautiful, and I'm just me, you know.
I'm just Ken.
I think you're pretty cool too. And interesting.
Oh,
But not beautiful.
Well, you're a good looking guy.
I thought you didn't even like me.
I do like you too.
you just never liked him.
You care about your friends so loudly,
Yes,
without worrying what anyone else might think, and that's
yes, I agree with that. That's what some people I don't think got about him in season 1. They're becoming friends. Yes. I love this show, but it makes me kind of sad to watch because I've never had anything like this.
You seem kind of down today. I just wanted to be alone with you.
You are now. He lost the challenge. Don't think he minds. This soundtrack, I think, is already like iconic.
It tastes like toothpaste. Is that okay? Yeah.
Flowers, they're new. The leaf has become a full flower. I can't sleep on my front like that. I don't know how anyone does it. I find it so uncomfortable. Oh shit! Oh no! I knew that was coming. Okay, amazing episode. That was my favourite one of the season so far. You know, when I said it with the last one, I was like, I'm pretty sure that was my favourite so far. This one definitely is my favourite so far. It was cool to kind of take the characters, I guess, out of the setting we're used to and kind of, you know, the holiday episode. A lot of shows do it, you know, when they have like the characters just go somewhere else on holiday or whatever. So I have been excited for the Paris school trip, even before I like read the comics and stuff, and you know, people were talking about a potential season 2 before we got the renewal announcement and everything. People, I think, were quite excited for like the Paris era. So you know, to have reached that and to see it is really cool. And I'm glad it's not just like one episode in Paris or anything. It seems like we're at least getting another one based on the fact that they haven't gone back yet. But there's so much to enjoy about this one. Where to even begin, really? I mean, I think the first thing is the vibes. I just wrote down vibes. I mean, I love the vibe of the show anyway. It's one of the reasons I enjoy it so much. But this one captured like the school trip energy so well. In year 10, I went to Holland, like a big school trip. We went to Holland for like 5 days, something like that. And just like when they're all like eating dinner like together, all having dinner in the evening, you know, the layout and everything like that was just exactly the same. And you know, just the vibe when you're like hanging in your hotel room, it was so good, so cool, to kind of revisit that. I loved that trip, because we had a trip in year 7. We went camping for like 3 or 4 days at the end of year 7, and that's something I forgot to mention actually last time with Imogen. Is I think the reason that little bit where she didn't have anyone in her group resonated with me, because that was me in the end of year 7. So I wasn't like super close to like any guy friends in year 7. Like, year 8 onwards, I think a lot of my best friends were then guys. But year 7, I was the only one from my school who actually went to this school in year 7, so I didn't know anyone starting year 7, which was quite daunting. So it took me a long while to actually make any proper friends at secondary school. So I ended up in that trip with like 3 other guys in my 10 I just didn't know. One of them I actively disliked. He was in my tutor group. I actively disliked him. You know what? Yes. I'm trying to remember his name. Harry. He's an absolute Harry. He was Harry. Literally exactly the same. What a dickhead he was. His name was Jonathan, I think. Might as well call him Harry now, because what a dick he was. God knows where he's ended up. And yeah, I just hated that whole experience because, you know, those guys were just awful. But that trip in Holland in year 10, you know, I had friends I could pick from a plethora of friends. I ended up having a great time. yes, they did draw on me when I fell asleep one night, but that was fair game because we did agree the first to fall asleep would get drawn, like their face drawn on. So that was me. But then another one of us broke the window in our hotel room. I don't know if we ever got found out until after we'd left, but he did. Aaron broke the window. But yeah, I loved that entire trip. It was so good. And this episode just really gave me those vibes and just captured that perfectly. And that, you know, I think I spoke in the last reaction about how they so realistically kind of capture some like problems you go through at that age and like how some relationships can be at that age. And even just that lived-in experience of the school trip. I think they've kind of, you know, really nailed that. And it must have been so fun for the cast to get to actually go to Paris to shoot a lot of this. Very, very jealous. I've only been to Paris twice, I think, and both times it's just been going to Disneyland. I haven't actually explored Paris properly. I would love to. Maybe if I ever have money again, I will be able to go to Paris and actually look around. But yeah, so I think that kind of comes through, like the energy of, you know, they have actually gone away to film a lot of this as well. That probably does help with their characters portraying that excitement of being away. So vibes immaculate as always. The teachers, I'm loving Mr. Farouk. I really, really like him as a character. He's really funny. Just a miserable guy who's so done with his job. Genuinely, that bit where Darcy's like, why can't we see any fish if we're underwater? And he's there like, I've never wanted to kill a child before now. Genuinely, I think one of my favourite moments of the entire show. It was so good. And then there's a bit of awkwardness between the teachers in the hotel room. I think, you know, maybe. Might be reading too much into it, but maybe. So yeah, that was great. I'm really liking them. Imogen got a huge amount to shine in this episode. I loved her standing up to Ben and just publicly dumping him like he deserves. And yeah, just kind of realising her own self-worth, I guess. And there's a little moment as well when I think she was walking with Nick and Tao, I think. And she was even taking the piss out of herself, being like, you know, I have such a great track record with relationships and stuff. I like that she was kind of taking the piss out of herself there. So, you know, I think they've added a lot of depth to her already this season. And I just think she's so sweet and lovely. And I'm glad that, you know, if anything good has come out from her being with Ben, however briefly, it's that she's kind of realised her own self-worth and that she can do better. So that was great, because she can, because Ben's a dickhead. So yeah, I really like that kind of moment of her kind of just taking ownership of herself and ensuring that, you know, she had a good time for herself on the Paris trip. She wasn't just doing whatever Ben wanted to do, which apparently was nothing, you boring fuck. So yeah, I really enjoyed everything with her in this episode, and I'm hoping we continue to see more of her and maybe her kind of properly join the main group, because I think they've kind of been building up to that quite nicely. So yeah, love her. Isaac had a few little moments as well, our reading king. So what is the guy's name that he's been hanging out with? What's his name? I've written it down somewhere, I'm sure. Where are you? Maybe I didn't. James, I did write it down. You know, him and James hanging out a bit more. I do think they're kind of leaning towards like the asexuality kind of storyline with Isaac, which I'm really, really excited to see play out, because that's a good bit of representation that still is underrepresented. So it's cool to see a major character, I think, go on the journey of realising they're asexual. You know, just when he was asking Charlie near the start of the episode about how he knew he liked Nick, it didn't seem to resonate with him, the idea of like actively wanting to think about kissing someone all the time. And I think he's kind of toying with the idea of, does he like James or not in that way? And I think maybe that's going to maybe lead to some self-discovery of Isaac's own, which is cool. And I'm glad they're, you know, really exploring a bit of that. So that should be a lot of fun. Maybe that's not exactly where they're going with it, but it seems to be strongly implied, given how Isaac was asking Charlie about all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to see more of him and get some more story. And then, I mean, I kind of talked about Ben a bit with Imogen. he's clearly still got a bit of a thing for Charlie. He's still kind of holding a candle there, to the detriment of Imogen. He's just leaving her in the lurch. And, you know, it's one of those things I think I talked about in season 1. You know, I get it. He's got shit going on. He's not comfortable with himself, so he's taken it out on others. Yes. But he still has done some really shitty things that I don't think you can excuse and reason away. And, you know, it's not Imogen's fault that he's kind of going through this, and yet he's kind of using her and taking it out on her. So, you know, I did like Imogen kind of really reading him for filth almost, and kind of just nailing it on the head when she was like, you clearly have some stuff you need to work out, and, you know, I'm better off without that. And he does need to work that out, and, you know, I hope he does, because that might make him, you know, not an arsehole in the long run. So we'll see where that might go. Maybe this whole thing will be a wake-up call for him, being publicly shamed and embarrassed like that. You know, I mean, it's kind of mortifying. In a way, I feel for him, but not entirely. Maybe I like 5% feel bad for him, 95% like but yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure there's more to that to explore. So yeah, there's also Harry just continuing to be a dickhead. There was a little moment where he was like, so the bus is going on the boat? It's just like a little brief cut away to him being like totally confused by the concept. So, you know, I like that, I guess, there's some like a moment of levity with his character rather than just like one note, this is the character he is. And I feel like I do remember something with him from the comics, but I feel like it would have happened already, maybe, if they were going to do it. They still might. I won't talk about it unless it actually does happen. But yeah, for now, he's just Harry. What else have we got? Tara and Darcy. I loved the scene with Tara and Charlie. You know, I don't think we've seen them really have like a one-on-one moment quite like that before. So that was really nice, seeing them kind of talk about how they're jealous of each other's relationships. And, you know, it's showing Tara does know Darcy really well, in the fact that she knows why Darcy hasn't like said I love you back, and she knows that she turns everything into a joke. It's like a defense mechanism. I love the little flashback to, you know, I think the first time Tara was like, fuck it, I'm going to kiss you in public. That was a really nice little moment, and I would love to see maybe more snippets of stuff like that with other characters. That'd be really nice to see. But yeah, I like them kind of demonstrating how well Tara clearly knows how Darcy's mind works and how she is. And Darcy still obviously continuing to deflect that big conversation about saying I love you. But yeah, that's going to be built upon, obviously, and I am intrigued to see when that will be addressed. Because, again, the pacing of the show is so good and so unpredictable that some things you'll be like, oh yeah, they'll definitely leave that until like episode 7 or 8, and then it happens in episode 3, like with Tao telling Elle how he feels. So, you know, we could be surprised and that gets addressed entirely in the next episode, or it is something that's saved to the end. But yeah, I really like Tara and Charlie kind of opening up to each other like that. And what I really like about it in particular is that when they're venting their frustrations, you know, Charlie's obviously jealous that Tara and Darcy can be openly together in public. Tara is jealous that Nick and Charlie open up to each other emotionally. But I like that they're kind of like frustrated by that, but they're not being like, it's Nick's fault that I can't be like this, or be like you two. And, you know, it's not Darcy's fault that I can't be like you two, because that's just how they are. I mean, it's a difficult situation for Nick right now. That's just how Darcy is. And that's going to be a very hard thing to kind of break through. But I'm sure it'll be worth it when you do. So I like that it's not like resentful and like they're being blamed for it. It's just they're still allowed to be frustrated by it, but they're not blaming, you know, anyone for it, which is really nice. And it just goes to show what lovely people Charlie and Tara are. So that was great, and I am intrigued to see where all that leads. And then Tao and Elle. It was really nice. You know, it's a very angsty episode last time for them, so I'm glad that got kind of immediately somewhat resolved. It's not fully resolved because, you know, they're not together, and I hope they do get together. But I think they've kind of made it a bit of an amends and starting to build those bridges again. They're kind of back to normal. I love the whole sequence of them at the museum, and it's kind of like the first date they should have had, really, something they both are interested in. I love the others kind of playing Cupid and being like, well, you two should just go to the museum on your own then. So this is kind of like their real first date, and I think that'll be like a building block to something. And I loved Tao getting the apple juice and just leaving that for her on her table. You know, just kind of like the first step towards an apology, and him opening up to her about, you know, Elle making new friends is kind of making him kind of feel bad and insecure about leaving behind, especially because Elle was the person, you know, that he made like pinky promise or whatever to like never, you know, we're not going to let relationships or other people like ruin our friendship. So the fact that, you know, that was when he was going through stuff with Charlie and being scared that he was, you know, Charlie was pushing him away. The person that he kind of was comforted by about that and was reassured by it and made a pact with about coming off of that, Rory, to see her then be the person that might be making a distance between them, you know, that's going to be quite hurtful for him. So I like that he kind of explained that and opened up and apologised for it, because, you know, he could have handled that a lot better in the last episode. So yeah, that was great as well. A nice kind of exploration of how Tao ticks. And yeah, just seeing those two vibe together in the museum was great fun. And, you know, some healing is happening, and hopefully, you know, hanging out like that is the foundation of, this is how we can actually build this into something more. This is how we should have done it first go. Let's try it this time. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because I love to see them be kind of like coupley and together, you know, for at least a few episodes this season maybe, or at least like an episode, rather than like saving it till the very, very end. I know we're getting season 3, so we would see more of it anyway, which is nice. It's so nice, by the way, watching a Netflix show knowing like we've already got another season coming, like that's happening. I don't need to worry about renewal. Like Shadow and Bone, in the back of my mind I was always like, I need to watch this again and again and again, and I can't pay attention to what's going on because what if it doesn't get renewed? And I'm still worried about that, and honestly I'm getting very concerned at how long it's been. But the writer strikes are going on, so we're not going to hear anything until after the writer strikes are done. Pay your fucking writers, God's sake. So yeah, I did really enjoy them reconnecting, and I loved the scene, well, both scenes I guess, with Tao and Nick, kind of, you know, they're becoming good friends now, I think, slowly but surely, talking to each other on the coach, and then particularly the scene in the hotel room where you know, Nick was telling Tao like all the things he likes about him, and just kind of reassuring him that he's like a good person and stuff, because, you know, Tao was really kind of choked up about those worries in the last episode, so it was cool to see Nick be the person to be able to comfort him about that, because, you know, Nick's gone through a whole period of self-doubt, you know, constantly as well, so I like that's kind of joining them together a bit, and Tao seemed genuinely moved by what Nick was kind of complimenting him on, which is really nice. So I'm glad to see those two, you know, building a proper friendship now. Nice foundation there. And then just Nick and Charlie throughout. You know, it was cool that they do get to spend some time together on the Paris trip. Setting up, I think, to meet Nick's dad as well. The fact that he can speak French and his father lives in Paris, all of that. That was cool. I loved everyone's reaction whenever Nick spoke like really good French. Just completely bewildered by the very concept. So that was all really nice as well. I already talked about the scene with Charlie and Tara, so he was great in that as well. Obviously the big concern with, I mean, the challenge of them, you know, not kissing, they obviously failed that, but that was such a lovely scene with those two near the end as well. It's just so nice seeing just those two characters together, just happy together. Like, Kit and Joe have such amazing chemistry, like genuinely, like, so amazing how they found those two. It's just such natural chemistry between the pair of them, that I could genuinely just watch Nick and Charlie just vibe and do next to nothing for an episode, and I would eat it up, because they're just so great to watch together. But yeah, I guess the big concern outside of like their relationship troubles with Charlie is the fact that he's not eating much at all, if anything. You know, they've kind of been building up to that. I did briefly, I didn't say outright what it was in episode 1. But obviously, I have read the graphic novels, at least covering the stuff that will be in season 2. So I knew this was probably where Charlie's story was going this season, and obviously that's kind of what they've been hinting at strongly, and Nick's kind of registered it now and getting a bit concerned about that. So we'll see where it goes. They might change things up. But yeah, Charlie's obviously, I think he's channeling all of his stress and anxiety about everything, and all the way he blames himself for every little thing that goes wrong. It's almost like punishing himself, I think, by not eating, and that feels like that's what he deserves almost, which is obviously not true and awful. But yeah, that's kind of, he's so stressed that he's not eating, and I'm just kind of playing around with his food. So hopefully he's kind of going to open up a bit more to someone about that sooner rather than later. We'll have to see how it all plays out. But you know, it is like an important issue-based story, and you know, it's Charlie's story in his own right. It's not just about his relationship with Nick. So it's nice to kind of see, not nice obviously, but you know, the fact that Charlie's getting his own kind of solo story like that, I think is quite important as well. So you know, it's obviously a concern, and we'll see where all that leads. But I guess the more short-term drama is obviously Charlie getting the hickey at the end there, which is one of the few things I did remember from the comics in regards to like the Paris trip. I just remembered the hickey really. So yeah, that's going to obviously be a bit of a problem in the next episode and cause a lot of speculation. So we'll have to wait and see where they kind of go with that and how everyone reacts to that, and what that might mean. Because I can't really remember what happens next. I am very excited for that. But yeah, an amazing episode. So much went down. You know, plot advancement and character advancement in spades. So many great moments for like all the main couples. Imogen had some great moments as well, which is really cool. I'm loving the teachers and just the immaculate kind of school trip vibe. I think they absolutely nailed it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where this all leads. We're now halfway through season 2 already. I don't know exactly when I'm going to get the time to watch more, but as soon as I do, you guys will know because I'll upload the videos. But yeah, that's going to be everything for now. I have been checking the progress on uploading the episode 3 reaction to YouTube. It's been blocked, so I'm going to go and re-edit that now, and then upload this full reaction to Patreon, and then edit this down for YouTube as well. Maybe not all today, but we'll see. But yeah, that's going to be everything. It's been so great kind of sitting down and binging Heartstopper again and getting like new content. It's been a great season so far. This first half's been really, really strong, and I can't wait to see what the second half brings for us. So yeah, amazing episode, and until my next reaction, thanks for watching.